maybe Precious is still fixing something. So yes, Daniel, please.
Um, Good evening.
Good
My
evening.
my name is Daniel. I'm not a JQuat student. I'm a former JQuat student. I'm now working and just saw this meetup and I decided to join because yeah, I want to learn one or two things and
Okay.
I'm grateful to be here.
Thank you so much, Daniel. Welcome. We are glad to
Asante.
have you back at JQuat once more.
Asante.
Karibu.
Okay.
Uh-huh. I'll give Goviani. Giovan, can you take it over? Introduce yourself. Okay, Giovan seemed not to be around. Who else? Do you have someone else who is willing to introduce himself? Okay, there's someone I want him to introduce himself. Jeff. Jeff, tell us you're around.
Hey, hello.
Hello.
Niko hapa jikoni kupika ugali. Acha that my introduction will see.
Okay. Uh-huh. Let's see. We are 13, so maybe we can just wait for two more people to join, and then we'll be able to start. I have some good content that I want to us to present right now. So, as I mentioned earlier, my name is Omolo Oganda, and I'm a student at JQuat Computer Technology. And what we're doing today, we're basically going to go through a soft introduction to Azure Virtual Machines. Yeah, so virtual machines are just like an infrastructure as a service. So basically a computer in the cloud. So it's something like just your normal computer, but it's something that's on the cloud. So that is what we are going to walk through today. We want to see how we can deploy these resources from Azure Portal. We want to see how we are going to access it from our local host. We want to see how we are going to connect it to our VS Code. Also, we want to see how we can actually write code directly on the VM, how to ensure that our code is running without having to stop. Yeah, so there's just a lot of concepts or new skills that we're going to learn today. So I have a feeling that maybe we need two more ladies to introduce themselves, uh, and then we can get started. So anyone else who wants to introduce him or herself so that we can start, because we only have 1 hour. So we can start at exactly 1910. Okay, we have Alex. Alex has introduced himself on the chat. So Alex Mita from Moi Eldoret student. I was introduced to this training by a student. I'm looking forward to learn something new. Welcome, Alex Mita. Yeah, we have a lot of things to learn today. Mhm. Sam, Sam, can you introduce yourself? Yeah, we have Sam. Yes, please, Sam. Take it over. Sharon, take it, please. Sharon, unmute yourself and then you can introduce yourself. You have to unmute.
Hi guys,
Hi.
I'm Sharon, and I'm happy to be here, ready to
Uh,
learn something new.
Karibu sana, Sharon. Also, we have Nesta, a CS student from JQuat. Glad to be here. So we have 2 minutes to go, then we get started. Yes, Jeff.
So finally nimemaliza. I don't know if I'm supposed to turn on my camera.
Yeah,
Leave
you
it
can.
off.
Feel free. Feel free.
Nipo
Yes, we
gizani,
can
don't
see you.
worry. I'll do introduction.
Yeah,
So
with
my name is
introduction.
Jeff. The other one is William. I'm a student at JKUAT. Hapo Molo aliwadanganya mimi ni lead, Ombolo ndio lead. So mimi teacher. Yeah, so basically that's all. I'm a student at JKUAT.
Jeff, there's something you failing to tell them. Mbona unaficha?
Unless someone is having a question in the specific.
Okay. So I guess there's none left who wanted to introduce him or herself. Uh-huh. Yeah, so I guess we can get started now. And also, if you have friends who wanted to join, you can actually share to them this link. So let me send the link on the chat section so that you can share with your friends who are willing to join but didn't RSVP. Yeah, so in the chat section, I've sent you a link. Maybe you can share with your friend who was willing to join and didn't RSVP. So let me share my PowerPoint here so that we can get it going. Just a minute as I load. Okay, can someone confirm if you can see my PowerPoint presentation?
We can.
Okay. Yeah, so that's it. So we can get started. So basically, one more time, I'll introduce myself. So my name is Omolo Cliff Oganda, and I'm a Microsoft ambassador, and my milestone is better. Now, today, I'm going to take us through a topic introduction to Azure Virtual Machines. And then also we can connect on social links. So you can find me on LinkedIn. My username is Omolo Cliff on LinkedIn. On X, you can find me with a username Osego_Baba. And then in YouTube, you can find me, you can find my channel Osego Codes. So I do a lot of content on Just Tech, Cloud, and many more. So you can find me on YouTube, LinkedIn, and X so that you can connect. That's it. So basically today, we want to take a closer look, but a gentle one, on Azure Virtual Machines. So this is going to be the agenda of our meeting today. So first, we're going to look at introduction to virtual machines. So if you look at our topic, we have like Azure Virtual Machines. So we first have Azure, and then we have virtual machines. So what is Azure? Azure is basically a cloud platform. It's a cloud provider that will provision you or give you access to computing resources via the internet. So you don't have to actually have the physical devices or hardware. You'll need internet to access these resources. So that is a cloud provider, that is Azure, and the parent company is Microsoft. Then we have virtual machines. So virtual machines, I want you to look at virtual machines like your computer, but a virtual computer which you can access over the internet. So it's a machine on the cloud. Now, if you look at the types of cloud services, we have things like platform as a service, we have infrastructure as a service. Is the audio lost? Am I near my side only? Guys, am I audible? Someone is not.
You are quite audible. I can hear
Okay, thank you. Yeah, next time, maybe you need to check on your device. Yeah, so like I was saying, so virtual machines, look at it from a point like it's just a computer, but on the cloud. So you only need internet to access it. So that's a brief intro on what we are going to do today. So it's like a computer on a cloud platform, which is Azure. Then from there, what we're going to do, we're going to look at the overview of Azure Virtual Machines, uh, things like the key features and benefits, the variety of operating systems that we can have. You know, we have Linux-based, Windows-based, and any other operating system that we have. Then we have the scalability and flexibility of these virtual machines, the availability and reliability. So when we talk of availability and reliability, so reliability is something being able to work even if the load is exceeded or it has a higher load, whereas availability simply means that our virtual machine should always be up and running. We should have minimal downtime. Scalability and flexibility, scalability is basically in terms of you can start small and then you scale out or scale in based on the demands or the load on your virtual machine. And then operating system, I've touched on that. From there, we're going to go on kind of the practical bit where we are going to create a virtual machine and then configure it. So we're going to look at the basics information that is needed for you to create a VM on Azure. I'm going to tell you how to select the disks, networking, and then how to manage that VM. Real quick, then we're going to look on how to connect and manage your VMs remotely. Remotely simply means, you see, it's cloud. So everything you do on that VM will be done remotely, okay? So we're going to look on that. We're going to see how we can SSH. Basically, I'm going to focus on Linux VMs. So I'm going to show you how we can SSH into a Linux VM from our terminal. Then I'm going to show you how to view the files inside there to make how to install anything that you need for your application to run. I'm going to show you how you can use VS Code to see the content and edit it directly on the VM. Then moving forward, we're going to see how to connect VS Code to our Azure VM. Let's do a recording. Yeah, Matilde, this meeting is being recorded. So I'll share it after the meeting. Thank you. So we're going to see on how to connect our VS Code to the Azure Virtual Machine. And then moving fast forward, because your application might have some environmental variables. So I'm going to show you how you can set these environmental variables on your VM and ensure that they run and they're being read correctly by your application. And then what else are we going to see? Now we're going to see how we can deploy an application now to Azure. How to deploy an application to Azure. That's now a demo, the practical bit. So usually those who have been attending my meetings, you know, like I don't like a lot of this theory thing. So this was an overview of what to expect in this meeting. And then now let's dive into the practical bit. Now in the practical bit, now I'll stop sharing my PowerPoint presentation, then I'll switch to sharing my screen so that we can take it from there. And in any point during the meeting, if you have a question, stop me at that point, ask me that question so that we can move forward together. Yes. So a minute, I share my screen so that you can get started. Okay, so share my screen. Okay, as a minute, it's loading. I want to ensure the entire screen. So you'll confirm to me if you are able to see my screen. Okay. Anyone confirm? Can we see? Can you confirm if you can see my screen? Okay, 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 okay. Thank you, thank you. So let's get started. So like I mentioned earlier, we are going to have an application. We're going to access our Azure portal, and then we are going to deploy. So what you need is an Azure account, a subscription, VS Code for the Azure code editor, and then you need what we call what else? An application which you want to deploy. So first things first, let me just close my current session on Azure. Let me close this one too. So I'll first log in into my Azure portal. So just go to portal.azure.com. So click on that. We want to do everything practically so that we can see how it goes. Yeah, so this is my landing page on the portal. So what you do, because a VM is a resource, so what you're going to do is you're going to create a new resource. So usually on top here, you will see some of the most frequently accessed resources, which I do access frequently. So in this case, we want to create a virtual machine, okay? So if you can't find your virtual machine here, you can just come here in the search bar and type virtual machine. Then you will have your virtual machines here. But in this case, I have my virtual machine already here. So I just click on that. And then once I have it here, it will show me the virtual machines that I already have running in my account or my subscription. Now, I want to add another virtual machine to my subscription. So I'll simply click on create. And you have to confirm to me that you are seeing everything clearly on my screen. If not, I will have to zoom in. Everything is clear, like you can see everything clearly. Okay, thank you. So when you click on create a virtual machine, so we have basic information that you have to provide. For example, you see we have the tabs here, where we have the basics, the disk, networking, management, and everything else. So first thing that you need to tell Azure is which subscription you want to use. So in this case, I will use my Visual Studio Enterprise subscription. That is what I have. And in your case, you may use Azure for Students, okay? Then resource group. You have to select a resource group. If you don't have any that you want to use, then you will click on create one, create a new one. So in this case, I will just click on an existing one, which is an MLSA resource group. Then what else is the virtual machine name? Now here you provide the name of your virtual machine. So in this case, I want to name my virtual machine, let's say, let's call it VM demo, okay? The next thing you want to do is to select the region. I'll leave it to South Africa because that is the nearest region data center that you have. So it will help in reducing the latency. Then availability options, you can leave that as default. Also availability zone, leave that as default. Trusted security type, you can leave it at default. Then now we come on to the image. Now image, here is where you're going to select the operating system that you want to use. So if I click on that, you can see we have a list of OS that we can use. So in this case, we have the Ubuntu's, we have the Oracle, we have Red Hat, we have Windows, even Windows Pro, we have them all here. But in our case, I want us to use Ubuntu Server 24.04 long-term support version. Then times 64, that is okay. Then coming down here, you can leave this as it is unchecked. Then coming down to size. Now here's where now you specify the size of your VM. So you see, we have different tiers for your VM. So in this case, they have selected for me this one, which will cost me like $9.57 per month. But that is too much for my demo. So I'll click on here, and then I see all sizes. I want something that is minimum that you can use for the demo. So coming here, I can go to the basics, where we have B2s, B1s, and the rest. So I can pick on B2, where they will give me 2 vCPUs, 4 GB of RAM, 4 disks, and everything else you have there. And that will cost me like $0.05 per hour. So click on B2 and then click on select. Once you've done that, coming down, now we want to set our authentication type. Now, in this case, I want us to use password, because with password, that is what is going to make it easier for us to connect from our VS Code. So select on password. You can as well use SSH key, this is okay, and the most secure one. But for this case, let's use password. So click on password. Then now you see password is here. First of all, you give it the username. Username, I want our username to be, just call it Osego. And you have to not take note of that because it's going to be used somewhere, okay? Then coming down to password, password has its own requirements. So I already had a password here generated by default, which will meet the requirements. So I'll click on this and then copy and paste it on the password. And then I want to confirm the password again. So it's okay. Coming down, we have inbound port rules. So port rules is that for you to SSH or access your VM, there has to be an open port from which any connection will get access to your VM. So just having 22 is okay. Leave it as 22 it is. Then all these other options here, they're not really important because what we are doing today is a soft introduction. So after you have reached this point, just click on review and create. Then it will go through a process of validating all the details you provided. If they're okay, we can go ahead and create our VM. So let's check. Amazing. Now, as you can see, our validation has passed. And now we can create our VM. So click on create. Now it is initializing our deployment from here. And then once it is deployed, we are going to go to the resource. And then from there, we are connecting now to our VM. So let's see. So it's deploying, you see it's in progress. Yeah, so as we wait, any question so far, any question? As we wait for the deployment to be complete, you can ask any question before we proceed, or any clarification that you want. Anyone? If you have a question, just unmute yourself and ask the question. Remember, we have LinkedIn vouchers. Those who participate will get a LinkedIn voucher. Yeah, so let's check back. Amazing. So you see our deployment is complete, right? So once it's complete, you have an option to go to the resource or create another VM, but we want to go to the resource. Click on go to resource. Amazing. So and under overview here, you see we have overview here. So in this overview, you can see all the details about your VM. As you can see, it's a Linux OS version 24.04. We have 2 CPUs or 4 GB memory. And then what else do we have? Let's check. The source group is MLSA, subscription is there. And then public IP, which we will use to connect, is also here. Yeah, basically every information you want about your VM, you find it on the overview page. All right. So once we are done with that, now our VM is already provisioned and it's now in our list of resources on Azure. What's next? The next thing is we want to connect to this VM from our local machine, because what we are doing, we should be able to work with the VM remotely. That's why it's on the cloud. So what's next? We have 2 options. We can do our connection from a terminal, or we can use what we call our editor, which is VS Code. Okay. Now I have my terminal up here, and I want to connect. You see, I'm in my home directory. This is my local computer. This is my local computer. You can see I have everything locally. So I want to connect to our VM so that I can be able to access my VM right from this terminal here. So what am I supposed to do? If you check here in our overview of our VM here, we have a button here called connect. Click on connect, then connect. So you see, we have port 22 open. My name is Osego, which I created earlier. Remember, I told you have to take note of that name. And then we have the public IP, which will give us access to this VM. Now, how do I want to connect? I want to connect to my local machine using the native SSH. Okay, so I'll click on select. Amazing. So it will go through some steps here. Let's validate. Then you can just pick on this, what we have here. Let me connect using that. So I see we have notifications. Is there any question that has been posted? Okay, so Alan is asking, how do you determine the specs for your VM? So specs for your VM, how you determine is based on the workload that your application requires. You can have an application that is really resource intensive, so you'll need more resources to sustain your application. If you have a simple application, you need less resources. The good thing about this is that the scalability. You can set auto scaling so that if the load increases, you can scale out, or you can scale vertically or horizontally, whichever way. So it all depends on the load on your resource, on your application. Yeah. Then Alan also says, can you still use RDP to access your VM? Yeah, sure. You can still use RDP, but today we're going to use SSH, which is quite straightforward. So right. So coming back to our portal, you can see that everything is already validated. As you can see, we have tick, a tick, and a tick. So what do we do? Now, copy and execute SSH command. So here's what we have. You see this command here. This is what you need to copy, okay? Now you see we have our public IP already here, and my admin username is Osego already here. But instead of using a password, which we set earlier, here they have used what we call the public access key. But in our case, we are not using public access key. So what we're going to do, we're going to use our password. And how to do that is simple. Bring up your terminal again, and then on your terminal, just type SSH. Then my name, my username, which is Osego. Then public IP of my VM, which is 102.37.147.216. So this IP is something that I'm not coming up with. The username, I don't come up with it. I set it during the creation of the VM. So you can see my name is Osego here, right there. And then my IP is this. That is what we have here. And then what you do, you press enter. So then just allow it. Host verification failed. Let's try once again. SSH, then name is Osego, and then sorry. Okay, SSH Osego 102.37, then 37.147.216. This should work. Are you sure you want to continue connecting? Yes. Then now, what do we need? The password of our VM. Now the password that we set earlier. Let's come here. Copy this password. Come here and then paste it there. Then press enter. Amazing. So you see how it has changed. Look at this. Initially, I was local in my machine, and my machine name is Osego, my username is Osego. Once you have SSH'd into the VM, you can now see my machine name is VM demo. And if we go back to overview, you can see the name of our VM is VM demo. So already we are in, which means we can access the files in our VM. We can install anything that we want. Now let's try and see if you have any file inside our VM already. So we can do ls. We have nothing, but we can have some hidden files. ls, then a flag of A to show all the hidden files. So you can see we already have access to our VM just by using an SSH and a password. All right. Next, as I mentioned earlier, I have a simple Telegram bot that should just give you a menu from which you can select anything that you want. So we want to deploy this Python bot on our VM. How do we do this? First of all, I need to ensure that I have Python installed in my VM. I need to have pip installed in my VM. I need, what else? I need to also have my files in the VM. So what do we do? Let's first check. Usually, I will need Jet also to copy my files from GitHub. To pull my files from GitHub. So let's go to my GitHub repository here, where we have a bot that we need to deploy. Amazing. So you can see I have a bot here. It's named Osego FX bot. So what do we need to do? I will need a JIT first in my on my VM. So which means I need to set like the details like my username and my email on the VM to be able to clone this application right inside my VM. How do I do that? Come back to the terminal. Let's first check the JIT version. Usually JIT comes by default in the VM. So we already have JIT version 2.43.0. That is the latest one. So the next step is to configure my details on the VM. So it's JIT config, JIT config. Then I want to configure it globally, global, then user.name, then give it my name, which is Omolo Oganda. Press enter. Then you can also configure the email address, JIT config global, then user.email. Email, we can do something like cliffosego@gmail.com. Once that is done, we can now confirm if they are set. How do we do that? JIT config global, then global, then the list. Amazing. So we have my name already there, and we have my user email already there. So what do we want to do next? We want to ensure that we have Python installed. We want to ensure that we have pip installed, because what we are doing today is installing what? Deploying a Python application. So let's first update sudo apt update. These are Linux. Those of you use Linux or Ubuntu, you know how we do it. Sudo apt update. So it will update our packages. Then once updated, we install Python, then we install pip. Really quick. Amazing. So what's next? Sudo apt install Python 3. That should work. Amazing. So already we have the newest version of Python. What next we need to install is pip. So sudo apt install Python 3 pip. Yes, that should be quick. But I have Starlink. It's really quick. You can talk to me. I supply to you some Starlink internet. Yeah, so let's see what happens. Yeah, it's installing. So in the meantime, any question from anyone? Yeah, so next is asking, so you don't have to specify the port while it's searching into the VM, or is it only for port 22 that doesn't need specification? 22 doesn't need specification because like that's the default. But now if you are to access it through like a web or a domain, you need to allow, is it 43 and the other two, 43 and the other port, yeah. But for the SSH, you don't need to specify. It already, it knows, because it's open by default port 22. Yeah. Any other question as we wait for our installation to be complete? Okay, it's complete. So let's get to work again. So everything is okay, but now we can check if they're actually installed. So we want to check Python 3 version. Amazing, it's there. Once you see that Python is installed, how do we exit? We exit using exit function. Yes, and then also we can check for the version of pip 3. Once you see that pip is installed, so we're good to go. So clear up the terminal again to have something clear. Now we already have Python installed, pip installed. What's next? We need to have our what? Our source code in the VM. How do we do that? Git clone, simple. So we come and say git clone, then come here on the code, tab it on the GitHub, copy this code. Then back to terminal, git clone. Then I need to just paste that link there. Then username for my GitHub account, I have it here, say token. So I'll just copy that, paste. Then I'll just that's my password too. That is it. So that's done. So don't use my token. Clear. I'll change it after this. So let's check the contents of our VM once again to ensure that we have the code inside there. So how do we do that? ls. You see we have it already here, Osego FX bot. You can cd into that directory and then check the contents. You see I have main.py, M-Pesa payment, requirements, and startup.txt. So what's next? Since we are in a Python environment, it's a best practice that you need to create a virtual environment so that all your packages that will be used in your application can be organized. And even when you share them, it will be easier for someone to set up your application. So we're going to create a virtual environment. How do we create a virtual environment? Python 3 flag m, then virtual environment, then the name of the virtual environment, still the same, VNV. And then we're going to get an error, which we can solve. Here's the error, install this one here. You see, was not created because ensure pip is not available. So just copy this and then paste it here. There's no problem with that. So no permission. So we need to do it as a super user. So just add a sudo. Then just say yes. Then let it install. That is real quick. That is done. Let's clear up everything once again. And then we want to create the virtual environment again. That will be okay. So it should create. Amazing. The next step after creation is to activate. So how do we activate? Source, then the name of the environment, which is VNV, into the bin, then activate. Once you see VNV in front here, you know it's activated. What's next? The next thing is to ensure that we have our requirement files installed. And you can see I have my requirements files inside here. Look at this. Look at this. Requirements.txt. So this one, actually, you can see the content, nano, requirements.txt. You can see I only have these few packages that need to be installed. So how do we do that? We do that using pip install, then recursively, then install the requirements file. So give it time to install those packages. Give it time to install those packages. It's installing. Yeah, there are few, shouldn't take much time. Yeah, they're installed. That's okay. Then we clear up. So currently, what we have done accomplished so far, we've cloned our project files into the VM. We've set up Python, we've set up virtual environment, we've set up pip, and now we've installed the requirements for our application. Then it's very easy. What's next do we need to do? All we need to do is to set our environmental keys. All right. So let me show you what happens. At this point, I can run my application because it has everything that it needs. Okay. So I'll simply do Python, then main.py. Then we get an error. Why? Because Telegram error is a valid token. I haven't given the token for the Telegram. I haven't given it all that it needs for Telegram to work, for the bot to work. So for us to do that, we need to set those environmental keys, which are very sensitive. To do that, I love to go back to my local application and just copy them directly from there so that I can show you how you set your environmental variables on the VM. Fantastic. Here we are. So if I will click on the NV here, this is my application locally, okay? So you see we have Telegram API. That is now the Telegram bot API, which you get from the Telegram bot further from Telegram. And these ones, it's an application which is in progress. So this one that we won't use them as much. So in a VM, remember when we started, there's a way in which when we reviewed the files, we couldn't see any file. But when we viewed the hidden files, we had files there. So before I set these environmental keys, anyone have any question? Before I set anything? Any question before I set the keys, then we run our application? After running the application, the next thing we're going to do, we are going to ensure that we see how we access this from the VS Code. So anyone? Okay, no question
I have
means
a question.
okay, please ask.
Are you recording the session?
Yeah, it's being recorded.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Kindly share the recording. I for some reason I joined late and I'll have to go through it.
Okay, no problem. I'll share after the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, welcome. Yeah, so as I was telling you, we have the keys here. So these keys are what I need to set in our VM so that when application runs, it should be able to correctly read those keys from the, environment and an application. So these keys, there's a special file in the VM. Let me show you how to get that file. So to get this file, you need to do something like a nano. I think I need to go back to my root. Yeah, so back to my root. You see, when I did ls, we only have osegofxbot, which is my product directory. But we have other files which are hidden. How do we do that? ls, then a flag of all hidden files. So this specific file here, .bash rc, is where we're going to set our environmental keys and names and values. So how do you open it? What you do nano, then it's in the root, okay? Then bash rc. So you see it opens a micro editor, a mini editor in our terminal. So we can edit this file here. Now for you to set those environmental keys, scroll to the bottom, and then once you're at the bottom, you simply do an export thing. Export. Then the name of that key. For example, here we have Telegram API, right? Let's copy this. Copy everything the way it is. Come back to your terminal and paste. Export Telegram API, blah, blah, blah. Next, we export. You do this for all your keys. Come back here, copy everything that you have, coming back to our nano editor and paste. Next, what you need to add is to export that last key, which is app URL. Copy. Coming back, you can still paste it there. So you already have that there. So we want to save these changes. So there's an error that you're going to get here. There should be no space between the equal signs and the values. No space, no space. That will give you errors. No space, right? So once we do that, we can just write out the changes and then save. How do you do that in a nano? Press Ctrl and O. Then we are saving it on the bash still. Press Enter. So we wrote 121 lines of code. So then exit. Ctrl X. Then once you set those keys in that way, you need to activate them. How do you activate? To activate, you simply type source, then the same path that we have here. Just copy this path and paste it again there. So at that point, I believe we've set all our environmental keys. So before anyone in the chat that has a Telegram on the phone, anyone who has Telegram on the phone for a demo, real quick, you have it. Okay. So let me send you a link. I want you to try and access the bot. Then you tell us if it works. Yeah, I'm sharing the link on the chat. Oh, nice. We have a number of people. So let me share the link. Just a minute. I share the link. You want to see what happens when we now deploy. Just a minute. Just a minute. Oh, I'm responding to that, please. Let me share the link first. But further, yeah. Yeah. I'll share the link. And just a minute. Yeah, I got it already. So let me pick up the link from here. Coming back. Yeah, so anyone who has a Telegram, you can try access this bot and tell me if you can do anything from the bot, please. If you click start, do you get any response? Once you've tested, tell us the results, then you can go ahead with our demo. And then in the meantime, we have a question. Why do you, let me see. Why do you just create a .n file for holding the variable? Okay, so what happens is that we're looking for a secure way of storing our key information, so that even if someone gets access to our code, they cannot get access to our keys, because once they have these keys, they can do anything that they want with our application. Okay, that is why we are trying to replicate whatever we are doing, what you could have done in a production environment, to what you are doing in Azure, because it's a production environment, right? So you don't want to store your .env file in the same place with your application code. It's not a good practice. That's why we set them at the system level, so that whenever someone gets access accidentally to your source code, they have no access to the keys. So they won't be able to manipulate your user data, your database, and all that. Yeah. Has anyone tried using the bot? Anyone? Yes. Is it running? Is it running? It should not run. Click on start. Once you click on start, it should not run. I want to confirm that. Once you confirm that, then we run it from our VM. Then you can see now it's working. So when you click on start, it should not give you a response. That's the confirmation I want. So Precious, can you confirm that? Yeah, it's not running beyond start. Correct. That's what I wanted. So we are going to run our application from the VM. Remember, we are here in the VM here. So you're going to run it from here, and then you click on start again and tell me if you get any response. Okay. So let's do that. What we do, we are going to do this. Remember, we have to navigate back to our directory where we were. So we have to navigate back to our directory where we were. So that's in our application directory, which is Osego FX bot. So we are back here. So you see our virtual environment was deactivated. So we have to activate it once more. Source, VNV, then bin, then activate. That is it, activated. So inside here, we have the main file. This is the main application. So how do you run a Python application? Python, then the name of the main script is main.py. Then let's see. Amazing. So check back on your Telegram bot. Do you get a response? If you get a response, just do it on the chat. Yeah, I see someone try to select an option which I haven't implemented, which means it works. Yeah, I see what you guys are doing. You're trying to access what I haven't implemented. So yeah, we got the response. Responded immediately. Yes. Okay. So you can see, don't sign in, don't do anything else. It's that simple. Yeah, Edwin has confirmed with a screenshot. Yeah, here's a screenshot. So you can see when I clicked on start, nothing happened. But when now I ran my application from VM, we were able to get a response. So that's it. So that's how simple you are going to do what? Deploy your application to Azure. Now the question is, after doing this, let's say you want to make some urgent changes. Urgent changes, let me stop this. You guys are now doing it. You're eating my credit. Let me stop the application. Let me stop it. Let me stop it. Yeah, now we go, right? Yeah, so that is it. Now the next question is, we now want to make an urgent change, a small change direct from the VM. What we want to do, we want to be able to access this from the VS Code so that we can make these changes. How do we do that? So there is an extension in VS Code by Microsoft. That extension is this. Let me show you. In fact, let me just open in a fresh window so that you don't say I didn't access it. Close the previous one. Correct. So we are in a fresh window. Yeah, VS Code. So there's an extension or extension, Remote Explorer. This is it. So the Remote Explorer, once you install it, you can SSH into the application files of your VM. So how do you do that? You need to open the command palette. The command palette, how do you do that? Control Shift and P. Then search for remote SSH connect to host. Okay, click on that. Then you can see select a configured SSH host or something. I don't want that. I want to add a new host. So it tells me I should give the SSH my username and my IP. So it is SSH. My name is, remember, it's Osego that we had earlier. Then at my IP, coming back to our portal, I can come check my IP. My IP was what? Here it is. I can just copy it, copy that, come back here, and then paste it there. Then press enter. Let's see, you can edit that. 0.135216. Yeah, let me see. Then connect in current window. Amazing. So let's see what it wants. You see opening a remote control. Then what's next? I should provide the password for my VM. Remember the password, we had it here. Come here and copy this password. Copy. Come back here and just paste the password. Then it should create a tunnel. We should be able to see. You see downloading VS Code server. Give it a minute. It should have everything set. Okay, then opening remote. Fantastic. So we are connected. We are connected. So we want to see how we want to access those files from VS Code. How do you do that? We can come here or open the terminal. You see, we have the same thing that we have. Look at this. We have Osego at VM demo. In the terminal, what do we have? Osego at VM demo. So which means we can do everything from right from here. Look at this. LS. We have Osego FX bot. CD into Osego FX bot. We can do that. As well, you can come here, open a folder from this point. Then look at this. We have Osego FX bot from here. Then, okay, let's see what we are getting. Opening the remote again. Then I trust, this is my own VM. Oh, sorry, I trust it. Damn, I clicked not trusted. Anyways, we should be able to access it still. Amazing. So you see, the files that I have in the terminal here, do ls, and the same that I have readme is there, startup, payment, and everything is there. So we can do a simple test. Let's go to my Telegram. For example, we have first analysis and see results. So what I will do, I'll go to my main. Then you see we have first analysis and see results. Let's change this to register to my event. Let's call it Azure demo. Azure demo. So once we have that, everything is here. I can as well write it, run the code from here. So we're going to do another test. So activate your environment, virtual machine. Virtual environment. Then bin. Then activate. Then activated. Then we can now run our application from here. Python main. Amazing. Someone sent a request and tell us if there was a change in the first button from first analysis to Azure demo. Exactly. I see someone has already made a request. And the requests are so many. Stop it now. So let's see from the chat. It was the change reflected from the chats? Yes, reflected. Can someone confirm if the change reflected? That should be the case. It should reflect. From my end, I'm doing from the phone, that's reflected. So basically, that's how simple it is to work with virtual machines on Azure. That's how you can access your codes, application files from VS Code and make the changes. And also the gist functionalities remain the same. You can push, pull, make changes, open API right from there, and everything else. So unless someone is having a question, I'm open to taking any question. Any question, any question?
Yes, hello.
Yes, Philip.
Thank you. So my question,
Yes.
I think I joined a bit late,
Okay.
but just to understand the context and uh, understand your use case for this VM or virtual server.
Okay.
What you're trying to do basically is you're deploying an application, and that application is a bot, and it's running on a VM. So in this case, it's a Linux VM.
Yes.
Oh, okay, just that. I just wanted
Oh,
to know, understand.
yeah, that was the theme of the meeting. Basically, we wanted to see how you can create those VMs on the from the portal at of Azure, and how to
Okay.
access them locally, and have your files deployed, and have a planning application the from the VM directly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other question? Okay, so we have some questions on the chat. So Alan is saying next time you can show us how to expose the application publicly. Yeah, sure thing. I'll even show you how to add a domain to that VM, domain name. I'll show you that. And then actually you can have that meeting as soon as possible, maybe next week. And then Nesta is asking, how best can one manage environmental variables for different profiles? Say, different variables during dev and different values for the same variables during deployment. Okay, this is simple. This one, you do it at the application level. So you will create just a checker. For example, it will check. Let me give you example just in a real quick. Let me just do quick one here. So I can come to my environmental variable here. No, let me use my local application, which has the what? Let me create a .env. Let's see .env. So what you'll do, you'll have something here called environment. Set it to development. Development. Okay. Now this is environment. Then it's just development. Now in production or in deployment, you need to add another key, the same key on top of what you already have called environment, but now set it to production. Then how will your application know? You need to come and tell it explicitly. So something like if os.getEnv, then the name of that environment equals to development, whatever the name you given it for your local application. Sorry for the typos. Sorry. Development. If os.get, then you set, for example, your a Telegram bot, Telegram API to something, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Then else if the os.getEnv environment equals to production, what do we have? The Telegram API should be something else. So let's just copy and paste. Maybe 963. Now, what you'll change is that when now in your production environment, you set it to production. So it will check. Ikipata ni production, it will use 935. In your local development, itangalia but in development, it's used for 55. Simply like that. It's not nothing complicated. I don't know if you've understood. Nesta, is it okay? The response I've given. Okay, thank you. It's clear. And then Precious is asking, do you need credits for the activity? Of course, you need some credits for your demo. And we have Azure credits for students. So you can check on that. Let me drop the link here so that everyone can have access to the credits, free credits for students. Let's check Azure for students. They will give you $200 credit and access to some free Azure resources. So here's the link, guys. You can use that to claim your credits. Then Alan Ngoma is saying, please do a quick run on autoscaling or the VM kindly. Oh, I'm sorry, but you can't do it now because of time. I ought to have done this for 1 hour only. So maybe we can do it off the chat with you, or in the next meetup, which is next week, we can do it. Alan, please, let's do it next week or off the chat. Okay, thanks, Alan. Anyone else? Any question? Okay, then for the VM machine bill, do one get to choose between monthly and hourly, or is it limited to low specs? No. You see, cloud is a pay-as-you-go billing method. So you only pay for what you use. For example, you see, we've selected one that we are being charged $0.05 per hour. That's an estimation, okay? But when you're not using your machine or there's no traffic to your resource, there's no charges. If you stop using it, you want to be charged for the month. Like you're not being committed to paying like subscription for the month. No, you only pay for what you've used. Yeah. So you just pick on your best tier, which you know is comfortable with the application and comfortable for your budget, and then that will be charged based on what has been used. Okay. Yeah, that's how simple it is. You don't have to commit a whole monthly fee of 35 points or 10 points something dollars. Any other question? Oh, cool. Philip Putin is asking, did you install a web server on the VM like Apache or Nginx? Sorry, Nginx. No, I didn't. So the reason I didn't do that is because this was like for a demo. And being a VM is like just me accessing my personal computer on the cloud. So in a point where I need to maybe have a large base of customers, then I will start to maybe think of cases like an Nginx or Apache for things like load balancing and everything else. Then some personal inquiry here. I'm just getting started with the Microsoft ecosystem. Is there a way someone can contact you for further inquiries and support? Yeah, you can contact me. Just text me on my WhatsApp number. And then Govian is asking, can you put this on your channel so that I can follow? Yeah, I'm going to do a clean tutorial on this, a clean one. Then I will post it on my channel. Also, this same recording that we've had here is going to be available 10 minutes after our meeting. 10 minutes after our meeting, it will be available. Okay, so there being any other question, maybe someone can tell us what you think about the one person, no, two people, a lady and a gent, how you felt about the meeting. Did it meet expectations? Any improvement that you expect me to have next time? Anyone? I'll give Felix Rono. Felix Rono, tell us what you think.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
This has been a very great session, and I think it has met all the expectations I had for this meeting. So thank you.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, so for the ladies, any lady, I don't want to be picky. Ruth, please, any comments, improvement? Is Ruth here?
Okay, yes, I am.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Clay, for this session. I am pretty new to all this, but I've been following, and it's interesting. Thank you very much. I don't have anything to complain about. I've enjoyed everything.
Okay, thank you so much for that positive compliment. Yeah, anyone who feels there's something negative he wants to outline, feel free. Anything negative you want to outline before I give Jeff for some closing remarks, or anyone else having something to say. You can unmute and just talk. There being no another person, maybe Jeff, it's your the mic is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank everyone for attending the session. I must admit that Omolo did a very good job enlightening us on the VM. Yes,
Thank you.
you will need VM in one way or another in your development. Yeah. So I will either use it directly or indirectly. Some they use, how do we call this? Containers. How do we call this name for containerization? Docker, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Those are still names of VM. Yeah, so basically we'll interact with them in one way or another. So I'll just like to thank everyone for attending this session. Aingekuwa kama mngeattend, like you are metupea moral. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we hope to have more sessions like this in future, but we'll also like to engage everyone and to do what they would really like to learn, so that tukuwe tuna educate so that we like tusiseme tunasema something that like almost everyone knows, so there's no value added. So we'll also be taking that data to know what people like to learn and have that into consideration. Also alisema kama kuna tu nataka kuongeza, so I forgot to add that I'm also beta MLSA. Yes, so thank you everyone and bye bye. Back to yourself.
Okay, thank you so much, Jeff, for that positive comment and for the encouraging us to always interact. And as he has mentioned, we'll have a session where we'll take your opinions on what you want us to cover during our meetings, a topic of your choice that you are more interested in, so that when we have other events, we give you events that are tailored to your needs. Okay, so like we don't just come up with topics out of nowhere. We want to give you events which will cater for your needs, what you expect to learn, what you want to know, and everything else. So that session is coming soon, so that we will have a series. Like every week, we have such kind of meetings. Yeah. So there being no any other business, I want to thank you all.
A quick question.
Okay. Someone is asking.
Yeah, is there a common communication channel, let's say a WhatsApp group or Telegram or anything?
Yeah, there is. Let me show you the link for our MLSA group. Where is
That
it?
would be nice.
Just a minute. Yeah. Yeah. So all our communications take place there. So you can just check, join, then all other meetings that are coming up, you will find them communicated on that WhatsApp group. Okay, so any other question? Also, I wanted to share with you guys a link to my channel so that you can support me. Yeah, so now that's my channel. I do post a lot of tech content there, deployment and stuff. So thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for gracing my event. It wouldn't have been possible without you guys coming for me. So thank you all for your active participation. your comments, and I hope all of us we've learned one or two from the meeting, and at least we're working out here with something new or something that we now know. Yeah, so thank you all, and we have a series of events coming up. So keep an eye on the meetup group for the MLSS Kenya. Those in the meetup group, you got reminders like every 2 days. So you can join that meetup group, and then you will be updated on all the MLSI events happening in Kenya. So also, if you join our WhatsApp group here, we'll communicate the info station and that session where we want to take your opinions on the topics to cover, because we want to give you what you need, not what we think you need. So in that session, you'll tell us the topics you are interested in, the languages, the frameworks, and then we'll come up with a plan that will take us throughout the semester. So we have a lot of goodies for you guys. So we hope to see you in all these meetings. And always when you come, tag your friends so that when you pick one or two skills from here, your friend also picks one or two. Also, we have LinkedIn vouchers. So after this meeting, I'm going to apply for the vouchers. And then once they arrive, once I have them, I will be able to give the participants that we had in our meeting the vouchers so that you can have a premium LinkedIn voucher. So yeah, thank you all. And you can, you can leave at your pleasure. Or if you want to talk to your friend, you can talk. So thank you all. Have a good night. Guys, kila mnaenda kwao. Thank you, thank you. I want to be the last person here. I want to see everybody leaving. Geoffrey, go home.
Just a question. Sorry, excuse me.
Okay.
Just on the Omolo.
Okay.
On the premium vouchers, LinkedIn premium vouchers.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just trying to access this PPT.
Okay.
So sorry, I'm all over the place. This PPT, I'm not able to access it. Will it be available also on the WhatsApp group?
Yeah, I'll share it on the WhatsApp group. Sure.
Okay, thank you. And then also information also probably on the LinkedIn premium, also kindly share on the WhatsApp.
Okay, fine. I'll share everything on the WhatsApp group. I hope you've joined, right?
Yeah, ilikuwa imeniweka pending. I hope join by side.
I'll approve you. I'll approve you right away.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes. Okay. Hmm.